the city who are going to talk about the possibility of changing Joyce Boulevard. I would like to ask that once they do open the floor up to questions, you raise your hand and wait till a microphone on this side of the room or this side of the room comes to you so everyone can hear your question, because this is on YouTube Live and people on TV won't be able to hear the question unless you have a microphone. They're putting up drawings, architectural drawings in the back of the room, so maybe after the meeting, you'll want to go glance at those as well, pretty much repeats of what you'll see on the screen. All right, so we'll turn this program over to the city, and we're thankful that they came by to talk about this.
Okay, well, thank you, Ricky. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. I'm Ken Patterson from the city of Fayetteville. I'm the federal aid project manager that is managing the project that Joyce Boulevard improvements are part of. This is a federally funded project, meaning that the Federal Highway Administration is going to pay for 75% of these improvements, and the city of Fayetteville, including bond funds, will be able to pitch in that 25 additional percent. This is a great opportunity for Fayetteville, and especially for all the residents along Joyce Boulevard to see mainly, our goal, to see mainly improvements in safety and improvements in mobility of all kinds of travelers up and down Joyce. So we think that the end result is going to be something that is very appreciated or very well liked. Our goal is to work with you over the coming months and the other residents and the other businesses and the other stakeholders along Joyce Boulevard to hear their input and to show that we're listening to your input and how that's impacting our design decisions, and what our hope shared goals will end up being at the end of this process. So I have 4 engineers here. We have 2 from the city. We have Dane Eifling in the back, Matt Mihalovich, and then we have our partners at Kimley Horn, fantastic design engineering company that is fairly new to Northwest Arkansas, and they've been excellent partners. This is Amber Christensen, and in the back, the tall fella, is even taller than the other tall guy, is Zane Lewis. So, and then finally, but not least, we have Gracie Ziegler, who has a direct connection with folks here at Butterfield, and she's our communications director for the city. So again, the purpose of this meeting and the purpose of calling us all together is we are at 30% of our designs. This is called conceptual designs, meaning that that's what they are. This is when we go out to the city, we get input, and we're still in that stage of development of these final plans to be able to make some alterations, to hear what people have to say, and to try to come up with the most interest-aligned designs that we can and that everyone will be pleased with when construction actually starts next year. Okay, so with no further ado, I want to, we'll open the floor. Amber and others will be pointing out your questions on the screen if you're wanting to point to a particular section. If you have any trouble seeing it, we can try to adjust. Is that possible? Okay, we're going to try to change this to something that's a little bit closer up. Okay, we'll work on that. So where it can be. There we go. There we go. We'll try to get these as big as possible. And again, these will be back in the back as well after. We'll be able to answer any questions or make any clarifications you have. But again, our main purpose here is to hear your input and to record that input and give you our pledge that your input is listened to and impactful for us. Okay, thank you very much. and we welcome questions as you have them. Yes, sir. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Alan Carney. The first question I have is, I mean, I do understand the roundabouts. I like roundabouts. I've seen roundabouts in even other nations that are huge, and they work, and people are, going round and round, getting off where they need to get off and all of that. What I don't understand, since there are so many businesses between the two roundabouts, why you haven't considered a turn lane in the middle as opposed to a small raised medium. It just doesn't seem to me, based on the traffic that I see along Joyce Boulevard, to be advantageous. I know you've looked at other things, including foot traffic. Guess what? There's not a lot of foot traffic on Joyce Boulevard. But when we open the school to the east, that junior high opens, that will bring a lot more traffic, what there is now. If you've ever sat at the front of Butterfield Trail Village trying to turn left, you could make a sandwich and eat it before you get time to turn. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna let Amber,
Yeah,
I'm gonna let Amber start addressing that, and then I'm gonna ask Zane, or Dane. I'm gonna ask Zane and Dane if they don't mind also. Amber's gonna step out for a bit, and if you guys don't mind taking over for a sec, or together, it'd be great. And we would like to address these one by one as we go. Okay, thank you, Amber.
Yeah, so the question was about ability to turn around at these intersections. So what the roundabouts do is it provides that opportunity with the number of driveways that are along here, to your point. There's a lot of in and out of vehicular traffic in and out of Joyce. So we're trying to reduce the amount of confliction points along that street. So the roundabouts do that. The other thing with the medians as opposed to the turn lane, I know that that's come up quite a few times. While adding the turn lanes throughout the corridor allows people off of the through movements to make those lefts, it still creates an opportunity for side swiping if cars are coming in and out of the turn lanes after they've made that turn. And at that point, if somebody is coming out of Parkview, for example, and they're trying to get back onto Joyce, they may not see cars that are going through because of the amount of people still in the turn lane on the west side of that intersection trying to turn onto Parkview. So that eliminates that. So you can see here in the current design as it's shown, there's what we call a hooded left at Parkview. So what that does is it gets the vehicles off of Joyce Boulevard entirely or off system, and they can queue in that turn lane before they make that movement. And then while we have it hooded, it allows them to have full line of sight for oncoming vehicles before they make that left turn. So again, it reduces that conflict point. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything.
I guess I didn't really make myself clear on that. There are multiple businesses between the two turn roundabouts. And if you're relying on people, let's say, for instance, between the roundabout on the east and Park Avenue, there's probably 5 businesses along along the street there. So if someone is traveling east and they need to turn into that business, what you're saying is that they have to go all the way down to the roundabout, go around the roundabout, come back, and then turn right into that business. Is that what you're saying?
And all, as a matter of introduction, this, sorry, Jeff.
Oh yeah, hi, I'm going to jump in here. I'm Justin Bland. I'm the city engineer. Yeah, that is correct. And as Amber was saying, that to us the left turn lanes are the safety issue, because with multiple lanes and multiple driveways, it creates a lot of conflict points, and we see a lot of accidents on this corridor for that. So by having you go around the roundabout and then make a right turn, it is a much safer situation.
So, but even though it seems like it's adding more traffic, by doing that?
It's adding more traffic, but you're not crossing in front of other cars at all, that entire corridor. So it's much safer from that perspective.
Okay, in addition to that, my follow-up question
Sure.
is, at Park Avenue, that is a street that only goes north off of Joyce Boulevard. And as I see the drawing, it looks like there is a stoplight there. Is that correct?
No, that what looks like a stoplight, that's what we call a hawk crossing. So it's a stoplight just for pedestrian crossings. So if you're familiar with where the Greenway Trail crosses North Street in town, but it would basically be a stoplight just to allow pedestrians to cross. But in addition to that, we do have that hooded left turn lane there, so that for the medical reasons that, you know, people can cut through there to get to the medical facilities on the north side in addition. But the stoplight will be strictly for pedestrian crossings.
Why not create a little a walkway over that?
Well, yeah,
That would be ideal.
yeah. I mean, mainly cost-wise, I mean, that would be much more expensive, and we're constrained by the right-of-ways areas there, but maybe in the long run, maybe that is a possibility, but for this phase, we don't have the funding to do something like that. Yeah.
And so our new entrance into Butterfield will not be impacted, other than the fact that you won't be able to turn left into the entrance coming from the east.
That's correct, yes. Okay. Uh-huh.
Could you back up a minute and explain your map? I don't know where Park Avenue is. I'm not sure where Butterfield is on there.
Yeah, sure. Well, the map disappeared on us. There it is. Yeah. I don't know who's doing that. Okay. 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 Well, here we go. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Which one do you push? Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, well, you can, it's a little bit wide for the screen here, but basically, Butterfield, we're in this building right here. So the Butterfield entrance is right here. And then this is Old Missouri here on the right. This is the, oh. We go back to, I think it was sheet 3. Okay, yeah, that's good. We can see both scenarios there. But yes, so again, this is Old Missouri. We're in this building here with the main entrance. This stoplight here, this is the pedestrian crossing. So this would be, you basically have the overhead lights that have the red, green, yellow, and then you push the button and it would stop traffic in both ways for you to be able to cross the roadway right here. And then you would have the left turn into Parkview. So this is Parkview Drive. So this is where there would be a break in the median. And then over here is Vantage, where there's there'd be the other roundabout. Does that help? Sure. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Have to wait.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Sorry. So you are putting in a crosswalk across from our entrance, or I'm not sure what you're saying, that will stop the traffic so we can walk across?
That's correct, yes.
But you couldn't put a stoplight there for traffic so we could turn right or left? That doesn't make sense.
Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One is that the park view, it doesn't align with anything. I might be doing that, actually. I don't know if does this click forward too? Okay, I might be actually hitting that, yeah. I don't know who's doing that, the screen there. So sorry about that, but yes, so basically with the none of these entrances align, so that's what kind of complicates the idea of putting a stoplight there. You know, if there was a way to try to realign the Butterfield Trail Village side to line up with Parkview, that might make more sense, but because of the offsets, it's just challenging from that point of view. That's correct, yes.
I've got a comment on the roundabout at Old Missouri. I was just out there this morning shortly after 7 o'clock, and the amount of traffic even at that time, I cannot imagine what that is like with a roundabout, especially during rush hour traffic. And you've got all of these senior citizens here trying to get out, to go to Walmart, to go to the doctor's office, wherever they want to go. So many people don't know how to function on a roundabout, and you've got all the other people during rush hour trying to get to work. First of all, they're not going to want to stop for pedestrians in a walkway. I've seen those work, and you're taking your life in your own hands trying to cross a busy road. And a roundabout makes no sense at all for us trying to get out safely. I just foresee all kinds of problems with it.
Yeah, I would say that with the roundabout, I think traffic actually ends up flowing better because you don't end up with the red lights to back traffic up.
But people don't stay in their lanes. They don't know how to use the lanes. They try and turn right when they're in the center lane. It's just, they're all over the place.
Yeah, I would say that I think that was the case maybe 10 years ago. I know when Fayetteville opened the first roundabout over there by the hospital that there was a lot of confusion, but I think we've seen a lot better education on that, and I think they're actually been they operate very efficiently now, I think.
I was just going to add to that conversation. So when we're talking about roundabouts and we're talking about the data that we've been able to acquire over the new roundabouts over the past 15, 20 years, something that is screaming out of the data is that accidents in a roundabout are not injury-causing or fatal accidents. And so there may be a temporary surge in fender benders. That is something that has been observed at new roundabout installations, but we're hoping to avoid deaths and physical accidents to people.
Yeah, and the reason for that is again because you're not. If you do have an accident, they tend to be when you're merging and you might like merging into another vehicle, but you're not crossing in front of another vehicle, and that's when you tend to have the more severe collisions that are problematic.
One question I have is that I think we're trying to tell you there's 400 of us live at Butterfield and there's over 250 cars and we all go somewhere. And we're going to come out if we wanted the main entrance, we can only turn right. A lot of us have the banks that are to the left. That's a whole row of banks. So to go to those banks, we will turn right, go down to the rotary, have to come all the way back, do the other rotary, and then come to the bank. And I think that's what the design shows. Is that true?
That is true. Yes. And
Okay.
with current planning, there's just not a lot of interconnectivity in this part of town, and that's what we do strive for with our current code. But there's not a lot of interconnectivity off the roadway here, unfortunately.
My other question is, I use Old Missouri because I don't want to use Joyce's, so there's never any breaks in traffic. There's a little bit now because there's a light, so you get a little break and you can sometimes turn right. But I use Old Missouri, and now with a rotary there, is there going to be a lane where I can go up and turn right without having to wait for everybody to get off the rotary? That design I can't tell. Maybe your other design showed if there was a lane. I'm going north and I want to turn to the east. Can you tell me if there's a place?
Yeah, yeah, verify that.
You're going to look, or you, okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Okay. The other question is, you know, we live here and everybody's going to be taken care of for the rest of their life. So we have nursing home, we have memory care, we have assisted living, we have all kinds of people. And we do have a lot of emergencies. Sometimes we have the big fire truck comes, and then the ambulance comes, and sometimes the police come. Can you, just so we know, how would they get in here to us, and how would they get out to go to the hospital?
Yeah. So
Without going around 3 rotaries.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so back to your first question, what you're referring to is what we commonly call a slip lane, where you don't have to enter the actual lane. Currently, that's not shown in that location for the right turn. We could definitely evaluate that as it proceeds. Yeah, we could definitely look at that. Yeah, yeah. And then as far as the second question, so on the median, we are going to make and basically what we call a mountable curb in front of the entrance to Butterfield Trail Village, so that fire trucks, ambulances, they can actually cross over that median to get in or out of the facility. So they won't have to go all the way down and turn around. So they'll be able to cross over that median to get in here directly. Uh-huh. Well, what I was saying is that they will be able to go and they will be able to traverse over the median in this area. So if they need to go out and turn left, the curb will be such that they can go over that. They'll be able to stop traffic at the Hawk and at the post office. Yes. Yeah. Well, it generally just the blinking lights. That's you have to stop because of that. Yeah. Yes.
Excuse me. But to answer your question, we'll be able to stop traffic directly at the Hawk and then directly down at the roundabout by the post office. So that will halt traffic so that it can get out and turn left over the median.
Excuse me. My patio faces Joyce Street, so I see a lot of activity, and I'm an early riser. So I watch these 18-wheelers barreling down Joyce Street early in the morning, some of which are carrying not only an 18-wheeler, but also carrying an additional trailer. So they're about as long as a train almost. My question is, how are they going to be able to maneuver around that roundabout? Because the roundabout on Vantage Street right now, where the apartments are being built, everybody including the workers working at those apartments, drive right over it because the circumference isn't wide enough to allow a car to go around there, let alone an ambulance and a trash truck.
Yeah. This roundabout will be much larger than that one that you're talking about, and they are designed to have the capability for semi trucks to go around them. There is the drive over, the kind of what we call a rumble strip, where if they don't hit it just right, they can go up on that curb and it doesn't cause any damage. But they will be designed for semi trucks.
Will you be able to route the 18-wheelers off that street once we start getting school buses on Joyce Street too?
Yes, these will be designed again for all those vehicles. We're not reinventing the wheel here. These are the roundabouts. They're used all across the country, and they do accommodate those vehicles.
18-wheelers will still be allowed to go on Joyce Street.
That's correct.
They can't go like onto Tyson, where there's a straight shot from Highway 265 to Highway 49, and it's 4-lane.
Yeah, we really have no control over that routing how they need to get to where they need to go, but they will be able to get through there though.
But we don't want them on there.
Sure. I don't know if you need the microphone. Or you
I'm going to shoot my mouth off at the urging of a bunch of my friends. I'm back here in the back around the fireplace. I've got extensive experience in London, and it's been amusing. The roundabout my understanding is the roundabout originated in England. The largest one in the world is in Benin City, Nigeria. If you're familiar with roundabouts, you know about. Have you been to London recently?
No, I have not.
Do you know what they've done to the roundabouts?
What's that?
They have stoplights. I'm serious. They've put stoplights in the roundabouts. You know why? Because the traffic, it doesn't handle the heavy traffic. It's become so heavy they can't get through the sides. So they're now putting stoplights in the roundabouts in UK, just for your interest.
Yeah, I think that there is a threshold. We love roundabouts, but there's a point where the traffic volume is too high. So I completely can understand that being inappropriate.
So I'm familiar with that roundabout. I've never personally visited that. Engineers would call that a traffic circle, which is roundabouts pre-2000. Everything that we're talking about is considered a modern roundabout, which has a lot more empirical evidence as far as the curvature of the entrance lanes, the width of the lanes, the size of the truck tracking apron that was just described a moment ago. So it's a different beast in that respect. Say it again.
Were you referring to the new city?
London, the one in London that you referenced. I would call that a traffic circle, not a roundabout.
But it has been a roundabout for umpteen years. It's not different than what you're talking about.
The geometry is different. It's much, much larger than what we're talking about.
Anyway, we're gonna get roundabouts.
Your roundabout, hi.
Question.
At the two roundabouts, I see crosswalks on all four corners. Isn't that going to be somewhat difficult?
Yeah. So at those crosswalks, what we'll have at each one of those is what we call an RRFB. So that's the signs that have the flashing beacons to stop traffic. So you would have a set of those to cross to the middle of the street, and then another set to cross over to the next set. So it would be protected because you could push the button. It won't be the overhead lights like at the Hawk Station, but it would be just the ones on the side of the street.
Does the city have a plan for Old Missouri in its long-term plan, and how does it affect this plan or vice versa? And I have one more question after that.
Yeah, so I think our long-term plan on Old Missouri is just to meet what our master street plan section would be for that area, as far as the street width and everything, and this would match up with that. So that it is compliant with what our long-term plan is there.
Is it 4 lane?
No, it would still be 3 lanes.
Okay, second question is kind of along with what Jim was saying. Even the traffic now on Joyce, and not just at going to work and coming home time, but throughout the day, it would seem to be, it's going to be very hard to get onto Joyce from Old Missouri from either direction because of the large amount of traffic on Joyce that is going to command it. I mean, that's just what it appears to be, because there's so much traffic on Joyce, and it's going to get more and more and more. So it's going to be hard to break into.
Yes, sir. I think we see what you're saying. And this is where one of those things where we want to believe in the roundabout. But that's something that we'll consider. I know we talked about some slip lanes and stuff. These are all ideas that we'll take back. I think Ken said we're at 30% as far as this configuration and part of the project is. So we still have a lot more drawing to do and a lot more input to do as well. So we definitely value all of this feedback, and we're going to work on making it work for everybody.
Question back here.
Okay, I just want to add on that. So we have modeled those roundabouts, and when we look at intersections, what we're concerned about is the delay that's created if you are on a side street and how long it takes you, how long you have to wait to be able to get into the traffic stream. And we have analyzed those and showed that those are not going to be, they're going to be in line with what we would expect. So we have looked at that, and we don't expect it to be a huge issue by any means, so yeah.
Question back here.
Oh, sure.
The question I have is about the Vantage roundabout and the volume of traffic coming out of these new apartment complex. The only way that they can reasonably get out onto 71 and 49 is by turning left at Vantage. The blockage that's currently at 71 and Joyce, have you considered how that volume is going to be handled? I can foresee gridlock at that roundabout without traffic control of a light.
And when you say the apartments, are you talking about the ones on the north side of Joyce, or the ones down south along south? Saying, okay,
So the huge
Yeah.
ones that have just been built with that little tiny roundabout in the middle.
yeah, yes. So that we actually have another project that I think is going to help address that, which is going to be, we're going to extend Millsap Road, which Millsap is the intersection there where Kane's Chicken is. So that is going to go due east. And it will connect up with the roundabout at Saint Street. But basically, there's a church there that we're going to kind of cut through an existing driveway, and that'll give all those apartments a direct access. So they'll have direct access to the north to Joyce, and then also the other way to get directly to College Street there at College and Millsap. So I think that will help address that.
I have a question over here.
Okay.
Would you have somebody use the clicker to show us how an ambulance would arrive at Butterfield and how the ambulance would then leave to go to the hospital? Don't just tell me. Please use the arrow.
Yeah. Can you see the red dot? Yeah. So if they're coming from the west direction, I mean, they're going to be able just to come down and turn in right, just like they normally would. Then they could come in and, or I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with the direct access point, but is it not right here?
We often have it.
Oh, over here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So from the east, again, we're going to have a break. It will be a mountable portion of the median so that they can come in and they can turn left over the median and directly into either one of those driveways. So they will be able to turn left, whereas typical traffic would not be able to.
And then they could leave they could leave either direction.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And on arriving, do they have to deal with a roundabout one way or the other?
They will go on either sides. They will go through one of the roundabouts. That's correct.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So I'd like to go back to the issue that was talked about a little bit ago about Old Missouri. And right now, it's difficult to go out on East Fargo and get on to Old Missouri. But what makes it possible is the fact that there's a stoplight up there and it breaks up traffic. And with the roundabout, that's going to be really difficult, and especially because there's a little hill there to the north of the exit, and you can't see people coming very well. So I want to ask, would it be possible to have a stoplight there, an on-demand stoplight, if you came up trying to get out of Butterfield onto Old Missouri? It would only operate if somebody was actually there. But I'm really concerned that this is not going to work.
Yeah. So I'm confused on where the stoplight would be. Would it be
on East Fargo at Old Missouri, trying to exit
right
from Butterfield?
Okay. Right down there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can certainly look at that. We typically need, in order to justify a stoplight, we typically need enough traffic coming off the side street. There are certain requirements for that, and I'm not sure that it would qualify for that perspective.
Yes, I realize there wouldn't be a steady stream of traffic from Butterfield, but you can have traffic lights that will only operate if there's a car waiting to turn.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't see why that would be unreasonable to do, because I think this is going to be a serious problem. There will be never a break on the traffic coming from that roundabout up there down going south in Old Missouri.
Yeah, we can certainly look at that. Thank you for the comment.
Mike, I have a question that relates directly to what he's talking about. As you well know, zoning certainly impacts traffic flow. And there are two rather large vacant areas at that intersection of Old Missouri and Joyce. In fact, there was supposed to be a car wash put in one of those. And they must have backed out because the sign disappeared, but the sign is up. That piece is for sale. The other one, no for sale sign yet, and it's a much larger tract. I'm assuming, since a car wash was going in, that particular plot is zoned commercial, some type of commercial. I'm making an assumption, and I underline the word assumption, that the other vacant area, which is rather large, may also be zoned commercial. in some respects, that seems a bit like spot zoning because you can go all the way down to College, all the way to Crossover, and there are only very few commercial areas. There's the burger place and the oil change thing at College and Joyce. And then you get down to Crossover in Joyce. There's some commercial things there. The rest of it is totally office and residential, with the Paradise folks, with us, but mostly offices. If those two places are zoned commercial, that's going to be a lot of in and out traffic. And I think that could have a huge impact on the success of the roundabout and what this gentleman is talking about, us getting out on Old Missouri.
Well, I will say I'm not a planner, so I'm not familiar with the zoning cross-section through Joyce. That's something I'm just not aware of, but we can definitely take a look at that. And I mean, if it's not, I mean, those people could definitely ask to rezone it to commercial in the future, and that would be up to the city council to decide upon. But I understand your point, though. Absolutely.
I have a quick question about Joyce extension to the west, to 49. Are there plans in the works?
To the west, no, not that I'm aware of. There's a lot of topography through there that I've actually never heard of any plan for that, so I don't believe so.
Okay, thanks.
I'm a little concerned because we talked about, and it was just, to me, it felt like it was glossed over. But if we because of the way the Joyce is going to be set up, my thought, and I would think many others would be, I usually make that disastrous left because my parking space is right there. But anyway, what I would opt to do is then go to East Fargo, which is the far east, south road. Okay, that's that big south road. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely make that left onto Old Missouri Road and then make that left onto Joyce. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to increase all our traffic because all of us are going to be taking that East Fargo Road and going left. So I just want you to know that that's a very big possibility for us residents because at this point it feels safer. And that gentleman talking about that little rise that's over on when we turn left is a hazard because they come barreling down that. And I also want to remark, because I'm on the west side, on Friday and Saturday nights, it's a drag race on Joyce. So I'm a little concerned that there's not something in midway between those two roundabouts that'll slow those folks down because they really drag across that. So I want to let y'all know that.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, thank you for coming to talk with us. I'd like to ask a question about the pedestrian, the hawk cover or whatever it is. At this point in time, there is very little pedestrian traffic. People don't just walk down Joyce Street. Is this a plan for the future that it is a protection for the pedestrians?
Yeah, so this is phase one of this project, which is going to be between Vantage and Old Missouri. With phase two, we're going to add a trail along the northern side of Joyce, basically from College over to Crossover. So it'll be a lot more pedestrian connectivity, and there's just not a great option. If you're not at one of these intersections to cross the roadway, there's just not a good option. You're crossing 4 lanes of traffic. So having that here in the middle, we thought would be a good benefit for the area.
Yes, you mentioned a hooded left turn. Mm-hmm. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, I don't know if Amber, you probably have a better technical definition for that than I do.
Yeah, so what the hooded left will do is it's like a protected left turn lane along the system without it being an actual intersection, like a signalized intersection. So the hooded left, as opposed to a center turn lane where cars can kind of come in and out as they go along Joyce, the hooded left creates a protection for them as they come off system, both from coming back onto the system. So it's really reducing that side swipe concern, but it also provides them full line of sight visibility for cars going westbound before they make that left turn onto Parkview in that case. So the hooded left It's like a left turn storage lane to get them off of Joyce before they turn onto Parkview, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
So basically, the center turn lane that is very short to, if you're heading east, turn onto the Parkview, would have a curb on the left-hand side so that the eastbound traffic can't hit you unless they jump up over the curb. So the hood is that series of the curb that extends on the left-hand side of the turn lane so that it only opens as you get to the point where you're going to start turning left through the oncoming lanes. Does that help at all? Not really. We need a picture. The one place you could turn left is at this place for Parkview.
Is Joyce Boulevard going to be widened any to accommodate all of this?
Only right at this left hooded turn lane. The rest of the roadway, they're trying to not widen it because of adjacent buildings. The trees in front of the Butterfield are one of the things that has been a primary focus for, if we widen, those trees will likely either just have to be removed completely or the construction would kill them because it would mess with their root zone.
I have one question. What will be the size of the median? Because currently we have 4 really nice lanes. I have buses that travel down through there all the time. And if we're not widening, but we're putting in a median, it's reducing the amount of lanes.
Yeah, so the lane widths will be reduced slightly. We're not putting 9-foot lanes in there, but it'll be reduced slightly to help slow that traffic down. But we are proposing a very slight widening on the north side to account for the median addition. So right now we're looking at about a 4-foot median, give or take. It varies depending on where we get close to the hooded left or closer to the roundabouts.
Well, my concern with that is taking 4 feet out of that roadway is a lot of area if you're not going to widen.
Yeah, we're planning to, with that, we would plan to widen on the north side.
To clarify, when I said widening earlier, I'm talking a full lane widening would only occur at the turn lane. A minor widening of 4 to 5 feet would allow for the median construction.
I have a comment, please. Our beloved Fayetteville fell victim to overgrowth very rapidly. I'm concerned it's going to continue, and I'd like to know how far out our long-range planning exists at this moment.
Yeah, so I think typically we have a 20-year horizon, but I believe next year we're actually going to start a new comprehensive plan, which would basically extend that another 20 years. So everybody will have opportunities in the next year to contribute to that and to give feedback from that. 2040. Okay, I'm sorry.
The current long-range plan for the city goes through 2040, and so we're going to be starting that reiteration of that, so it would then plan to go from 2040 to 2060. So that's how far in advance we're cycling through those plans. We're not redoing our plan to 2040, but we're starting in advance with the studies that we're doing now to plan for the next 20 years. After that. Did you?
I have a question. How long will construction take on this?
I don't know if we've quantified that. I was probably like an 18-month project, I guess. Yeah, we're still early in this. I think it's probably an 18-month project is what we would expect at this point in time.
And during that 18 months, how do ambulances get to us?
Yeah, we'll maintain, that's something we're very keen on, is providing, access. I mean, the roadway will still have to be open, but we'll definitely provide access to emergency services throughout that duration. Oh yeah, so, okay. So back to the question about the hooded left, so the idea here is that if you're gonna make this turn left, you would come in and you could pull in here, but there's a curb here basically on both sides that protects you so that you're not as likely to get hit by a car coming the other direction. So you basically can pull in. So it's basically a turn lane, but it's just protected on both sides so that you can pull in and then pull out there. So you're basically protected in the middle of the traffic lane is what the idea is.
I have a suggestion. When we have thunderstorms and such, the people with the underground buried cables don't have problems. Why don't you take that space on the north side of Joyce across from us, bury those cables, so that will eliminate that problem, and that would give you enough room to widen.
Yeah, so you're talking about the overhead, like the power lines and the communication lines.
Yes.
Yeah. The bigger issue we have with that is just those aren't city utilities, so kind of coordinate that. But we can definitely look into that. I will say that is very expensive to do, so it becomes cost prohibitive very, very commonly. But we can definitely look into that, though.
I have a question. Here.
Sorry, a lot of faces here. Yes.
Are you going to be working on both roundabouts at the same time?
Yeah, we had to be. We're still so early in on this, we don't know. But I think it's unlikely. We'd probably focus on one to
I
complete
would
it.
think so. Otherwise, we're going to be trapped in between the two.
Yeah, we won't trap you. No, that's
okay.
Good point.
I have a question, please. Would you speak to the pedestrian traffic? Currently, I'm able to cross where you are planning on putting a roundabout. Are you accommodating pedestrians?
Yes.
Please tell me how.
Yes. Well, so the yeah, there you go. Yeah. So there we go. So if you're walking down here, there's going to be crosswalks on all four sides, and there's a refuge island in the middle. So there'll be.
I like that name.
That's a technical. Yeah. No. Yeah. Right. No, but the idea is basically you're going to have a set of flashing lights here, so you can push the button and it will stop traffic from this direction. So then you can cross, and then there's another set of lights here that you can push, and then you would stop traffic from that direction. So those will both.
Good.
You'll have double sets on all four sides.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go back to where the entry comes for Butterfield there, the main entry. Can you go back? Oh, okay. Okay. So it looks to me like you could come down Joyce on the north side and get into that and then turn in. You can't do that because there's some reason you can't do that?
That will definitely be signed to not be able to do that. It's intended to provide access to the hospital to the north. Yeah, I see what you're saying though, but that will not be legal. That will not be. It will be signed to not do that. I don't know if we've. Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head, but we.
Can I clarify something? So if you are coming from crossover, back to Butterfield, you do the roundabout at crossover, and you come.
Yeah. It's
Well,
Missouri.
Okay, so you do the crossover, you do the roundabout at Missouri, but you'd have to come all the way down to the other crossover, to the other roundabout.
By the post office? Yes.
To turn back in instead of being able to turn left the way you can now.
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Alternatively, you could turn left and go south on Old Missouri and then turn into Fargo. That would be the other option.
Have you done a traffic count of pedestrians trying to cross the street where you're proposing? I would suggest that maybe 3 people a day, and that's not worth whatever you're planning.
Yeah, I have no doubt there's not an appetite to do it today. It's very dangerous. So we think this is just a good spot there for future growth with a trail on the north side. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you bet.
You may not know this or not. Is on the northeast side, is that not going to be a school?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. No, I don't believe the school does. Yeah, the new Woodlands being built at Joyce and Crossover is further over. Yes. Any other questions? Oh, up here. Can you hand that to her?
I understand that Joyce Boulevard carries about 200,000 cars a day. Is that correct? Well, okay. Are you going to go on down on the other side of 71? Are you going to do any roundabouts down on the west side and going on down? I mean, this is a major across town. I mean, Township and Mission are about the only other, and there are a lot of people that live out east. They don't feel very good about this either.
So first of all, no, I don't recall the exact traffic count, but it's likely between 10 and 20,000 cars per day, not 200,000. It'd be much lower than that. As far as on the west side of Joyce, we don't have any plans for that. Again, this project originated because this section of Joyce is on the high injury network, which has a lot of fatal and serious crashes. So that's why we're focusing our efforts here to improve the safety. In the future, we may expand it to go across the other side of 71, but at this time, we don't have any plans for that.
The roundabout size, will they be as large as the ones over by Washington Regional, over on the one you referenced earlier when you come off, like you're going off to 71? And will there be 4 lanes so that you can keep out of each other's way?
Yeah, it should be very similar to that. There are also a series on the southwest side of town on Rupel Road. There's a series of roundabouts that'll be very similar to those. It's 4 lanes going north-south, so it'll be very similar to that. Not currently, but we can always add that on there, yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. Have you considered all the traffic that new junior high school is going to put down Joyce Boulevard?
Yes, I believe that was all considered in the traffic, the volumes that we're considering. That's correct, yes.
A lot of traffic. I have a question. What I'm concerned about is the backup traffic, the traffic that is heading west to that light at College. And in around 5 o'clock, 3 to 5 o'clock, it backs up, and I've seen it backed up all the way to the old Missouri light before. So when it hits that roundabout, is there a way to get around to avoid? Is it going to bottleneck there? Is it going to stop traffic in the roundabout when it backs up?
If it did back up that far, it would. We do have the phase 2 of this project. We do have some improvements at that stoplight. We have a lot of the way those left turn lanes are situated.
They're bad.
Yeah, and it basically ends up blocking off lanes. So we have ways that we're going to try to improve that, and I think that will help with what you're talking about.
Great, thank you.
I
I will say one thing just about the whole 2040 plan in general for the whole city, which would include impacting the work done on Joyce and the benefit of the work done on Joyce in the immediacy, is that we are trying to triple our opportunities for other people to not drive cars, to ride a bus, to have public transport. And then with the increase in trails, we would hopefully have more people riding bikes. And I know that might not be this crowd, and I totally get that. So that would be hopefully a traffic calming opportunity for that if we're taking more people off the road in other places so that it balances out. And that's part of the bigger plan over the next 15 years. We'll think positively. We'll all be here.
I think to add to that, this is different than the way City of Fayetteville has improved the safety and pedestrian and vehicle travel time through different corridors, but it's because of the experience at other intersections in other communities that everything tells us this is going to make the travel through time shorter and it's going to make it safer. So if that, if there's something along the way that we find out or that you guys help educate us about that makes us make this safer than it currently is shown, that's the main focus that we're trying to be open to.
Okay, are there plans to increase the width of the sidewalk on the north side of Joyce to 10 feet? And are you planning any bicycle lanes?
It's 10 feet, is that right? Yeah. On the north side, the sidewalk will be widened to 10 feet, and that will be a multi-use trail. So no bike lanes in the street. It would be you'd be expected to do it on the sidewalk there.
Would you repeat that question for us all?
There's just gaps in the sidewalk, or yeah, it's just.
dash line, let's just designate the Sherby's path.
And on the south side of the.
Those are to fill in the gaps.
This is the gaps, yeah. Yeah. So on the. So the yellow lines here are just the shared use path. It's just like showing the center line, like what would be the yellow line striping. On this side, these yellow spots are just areas where we've done a conditional evaluation, and we think that those sidewalk panels need to be replaced because they're either cracked or they have issues with them. Is that the ones you were talking about? Yeah. Okay.
What is the plan from Old Missouri Road east to crossover?
So that'll be part of phase 2, and primarily we're not going to need to do a whole lot there. It's more with the improving the sidewalk, and then as we get to crossover, we're going to make some improvements to that intersection. The turning lanes there are a little bit problematic as well. So.
Okay, on the sidewalk, which side of the north or south?
So the multi-use trail will stay on the north side through there.
Thank you.
Have you considered not putting a roundabout on Old Missouri and doing it at crossover?
No, no, that's mainly with crossover, the traffic volumes are a lot higher. It's also an RDOT facility. There's a lot of complications with looking at it there, geometry. There's a variety of things. So
Or just one advantage in not doing one at crossover? I mean, one at...
Yeah, the kind of the magic behind making this work is having the roundabouts on both sides of the median. Because if you had the median and you went to a stoplight, we would have to do U-turns, and that's really unsafe. So having the roundabout on all sides allow that there's no left turns in that scenario. You can go down, go around, and you can turn around. So that's where we get those real gains in safety.
Have you considered putting a traffic roundabout at Bellefonte? That's to the east of Vantage.
Or to the,
I mean, you're gonna have a traffic light between 71 and Vantage, the roundabout. It doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah, at Bellefonte, that's not a location we looked at for a roundabout, but we are looking at doing some pedestrian improvements there, like a crosswalk, other things right there.
I have a question. I'm in favor of roundabouts, basically. I'm used to it from other countries. However, I find that there's still a lot of confusion in the general public here on how to handle them. And so many people consider it like a stop sign, and then they stop, and then they go, and then they go and stop. And I was wondering whether you're planning to have like an education campaign to make people
yes, ma'am.
make people more comfortable with them.
Definitely. And, you know, when Conway started putting in all of their roundabouts, they did some education, and some was really good and some wasn't. And so we've learned like what is working and what is not working. And so we will have multiple opportunities for people to learn how to do it, because it is new. So we will definitely do that. And we do have this map set up on the back table, and we've got another really long one we'll bring up here. If you want to come and, like, we've got stickers, you can put stickers on them. If you want to come and look at them up close in person. We also have some renderings of what the different, like, curb heights, I think, look like on the back easels. So we want to make sure that you can have kind of a hands-on opportunity to see that as well, besides just the screen. But otherwise, thank you for your time. Yeah, we really appreciate y'all coming. We will, continue to do as much as we can as far as feedback is concerned to come and get y'all's feedback.